So we're reacting to a great win here for Exeter Chiefs. I'm delighted to say the real King Henry in these parts has joined us. Henry Slade is here. And Henry, you told us before the game you were hoping that things would be a little bit more comfortable on the scoreboard after that victory in Toulon last weekend. Didn't feel as comfortable, did it? How was it?
No, we got to stop. We got to stop making it come down to the wire like that. But I think you've got to give all credit to the boys. Munster came at us with everything today, and he got out to a pretty decent lead. And we just spoke about staying in the fight, staying in it in every moment. Sorry, and in the end, we came through. I think obviously we've been doing that the last few weeks, and maybe we're using up all our luck. But yeah, we'll take the win.
I think we just said before you came over, Henry, that it was ultimately you getting off the line that sealed the win, and running away with it sealed the win. But actually, for about an hour of that game, it looked like Munster had found ways to get around and over the top of that blitz defence. Does that worry you at any point, or do you think this is a process that actually you don't become a good blitz defence team overnight? It's a relatively new set of players, and you will improve as time goes on. Ultimately, didn't cost you the match, but are there some learnings there? Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we'll watch the tape over the next couple of days and see where we can improve. But I think the mentality we've brought in these young lads, we've got a much different squad this year, and the intent these boys are bringing is giving us all our opportunities and giving us everything. The collision quality is massive. Some of these young boys putting in huge shots. The line speed we're seeing from them, the work rate, scramble. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that. I think if you're working that hard, you're gonna make some luck. And I think obviously at the end it showed it came true.
And what's it like actually when you're out there and all? I mean, I said it maybe looks a bit kamikaze, but is it quite calm and composed, and you guys are all just talking to each other and you're trying to figure stuff out on the run? Yeah, I mean, well, we practice it every day, and obviously it doesn't feel that calm, but it feels like, you know, you're on the edge and you're working hard. It feels tough, but it must feel even tougher for the opposition, I think. I mean, when we have to attack against it during the week, it's tough to attack against, and yeah, we just keep wanting to put as much pressure as we can on teams. Munster got a few things away today, but I think over the balance of the game, we stayed strong with it and came through in the end.
Henry, I wanted to ask about your personal motivations. Of course, we know you missed out on a place at the World Cup, but you've lost some great mates who've been at this club alongside you for a long, long time. How are you pushing yourself forward as we think about possibly getting yourself back in inclusion for the Six Nations?
Yeah, obviously massively disappointed not to have gone in the summer, but rugby is a game of opinions, and you've got to live with what happens. I think I use it in the right way, and I feel like I've used it in the right way, motivation wise. Came back in and to a squad that was really working hard through pre-season, and sort of hit the ground running into the Premiership Cup, and then we've had a real strong start to the season. And this group has made it easy to come back into and get straight on with things. I think if I had time to sit and dwell on the summer, then I'd have struggled really quite a bit. But yeah, I managed to get straight back into it, and the boys have kept me on my toes, these young lads. But yeah, I think I'm using it feel like I'm using it in the right way, and very determined, yeah, to keep putting my hand up, and you never know, get back in the selection.
Rob, it's one thing figuring out what needs to be better in the second half of a match, but it's quite another then going on to action it. How proud are you of your side's adaptability today? Yeah, that was the key for us, wasn't it? Because there were some themes in the first half. I mean, they stayed there through the second half a little bit. I thought Munster did a very good job of kind of beating our rush a few times, getting the ball with some width. That created a few issues. I think we dealt with quite a lot of that in the second half, although not all of it. But I think we actually kicked better. I think we just did things a little quicker and a little bit more tempo in the second half, and that was the key. Anytime we got tempo into the game, we challenged Munster, but they managed to control the pace of the game a bit too much for our liking in the first half. I think we controlled it more in the second half, and that allowed us to kind of close the gap on the scoreboard. And as I keep trying to convince the lads, you know, when a team have to win, when a team are battling to win, and that scoreboard pressure starts to come back, it gets tough, and you saw that again in that last quarter today. The second half was also when the bench came on, and your replacements, those 2 tries in that bonkers 5-minute period, and then the scrum penalty right at the end. It's a full 23 performance. How much do you drill that into the boys in the week? Oh, I mean, definitely. I mean, they all know that the energy they bring is going to be very important, particularly if you want to try and demand that last 20 minutes. I mean, how Jack Dunn scored his try, I'm not even going to try and explain. If he knows how he scored it, fair play to him. But we just said, you know, I mean, those are moments in your lifetime that you can remember forever, aren't they? You know, a guy who's joined us from Leinster scoring a try like that against Munster, I think you'll have a few beers just celebrating that tonight. But that showed you, because that was a double pressure moment. We came up with a kick-off turnover. Stu Townsend puts it in behind. There's a nasty bobbling ball.
flat-out kick chasing moments happen. It's a bit like Henry's last-second interception. When you're creating pressure, the moments go your way, and I think that's what we're learning. We're learning to hang in there and not lose our way of playing, and eventually we get our moments, and that's the biggest growth we can have as a team.
And they're not just learning, they're learning and winning at the same time. It must be an awful lot of fun to coach this bunch.
With 20 minutes to go, I'm not sure if I was sitting up there thinking it was fun, but then afterwards, when you see how they come through it, you are appreciating that they are growing and developing, and they are enjoying themselves. That's the key. You know, coaching is only enjoyable when the team you're coaching is enjoying it, and these lads are enjoying it and enjoying being together, enjoying training together, enjoying working hard, and that's what makes it enjoyable, not the wins and the losses.
Well, we thoroughly enjoyed watching it. Go enjoy celebrating it.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's great to see Rob Baxter there, who kind of himself has been revitalised by this new generation of players. Gamecraft really comes to mind, managing the big moments, something that it seems like they're working on and it's paying dividends too.
He's got his tracksuit back on match days, hasn't he? He went to chinos and a collared shirt for a while. Didn't feel right. Felt a bit posh, didn't it? Felt a bit formal. He's back in his trackie. I think one of the key things is the way Rob Baxter speaks after games and before games. We've heard it a lot of time. He often says it's sometimes about the wins and the losses, but actually at the moment it isn't necessarily about that. I think there's very little expectation put on the players here for this season. Certainly, I don't know about next, but for this season they haven't been said, right, it's top four, we're gunning for top four, we're going to win the Prem, we're going to win the Champions Cup, we're going to get to the semi-finals of the Champions. I don't think there's any of that. I think it's right, we're going to take, not cliche, we're going to take week at a time. What we're going to try and do is be as good as possible at the end of the season compared with where we are now. Lots of you are young, you've got some brilliant senior players, Henry Slade among them, Jack Yendall among them, as Daffy Jones mentioned, actually to lead you along and inspire you. But all we're trying to do is improve, and I think they play like a team that aren't under a huge amount of pressure. And I think you can really tell. They look like they're enjoying it, but they stick in the fight. And when the pressure moments come, they don't look nervous about potentially getting told off on a Monday morning. They look ready to go.
Yeah, and alongside that, I'd say it looks like they've given them a bit of clarity to get around as well. So when you have got a new group, a young group, you give them the game plan, you give them some specifics, but after that, it's like, boys, go out and work hard. So Daffy said ending ourselves for each other. It's work rate, it's looking left and right, seeing who you've got alongside you, and actually this is our game plan, whether it's defence or attack, and we will get there in the end. The opposition will blink first, and it's never ever going to be perfect. I think that's part of the journey, but actually they're enjoying what they're doing out there, and they're going to keep going, and when they get their rewards, it's worth it. So we talk sideline about taking the 3 instead of the 5. 9 times out of 10, they're kicking for the corner because they believe that they'll get over the line with their close quarter work. When it comes to defence, it's blitz, blitz, blitz. There will be mistakes. Teams will analyse them and know where the space is, but eventually we'll get you. We'll get intercepts, we'll get big hits, and our defence will outwin your attack. So it's good to see. You can tell they're enjoying it. It's a new journey, but they're enjoying the ride so far.